My dear brothers and sisters, today the first reading is taken from the book of Isaiah. It says, "My word shall not return to me void, but shall do my will, achieving the end for which I have sent it." Also the reading taken, St. Paul's reading to the Romans, it says, "I consider that the suffering of this present time as nothing, because compared to the glory that I am going to receive with the grace of God." My dear brothers and sisters, this morning we are gathered around this altar to listen to the third great discourse of Jesus in the Gospel of Matthew, namely the parabolic discourse. The other two being the Sermon on the Mount in chapters 5 and 7, the missionary discourse in the chapter 10. The parabolic discourse consists of 7 parables, as you know, my dear brothers and sisters. 7 means, as we know, the perfection biblically. So they are the parable of the sower, the parable of the weed among the wheat, the parable of the mustard seed, the parable of the yeast, the parable of the treasure buried in the field, the parable of the pearl of the great price, and the parable of the net. From this Lord's Day onwards, we will be reflecting on these 7 parables. This parable has, now today we listen to the parable of the sower. This parable has to be understood in proper agricultural context, since in Palestine, sowing often preceded plowing. Much of the seed is scattered on ground that is unsuitable. Yet while much is wasted, the seed that falls on the good ground bears fruit in extraordinarily and large measure. The point of the parable is that, despite of the failure because of opposition and indifferences, the message of Jesus about the coming of the kingdom will have enormous success. Thirdly, the Jesus goes on explaining the parable. In his explanation, he emphasizes on the various types of soil on which the seed falls, that is, on the disposition with which the preaching of Jesus is received. My dear brothers and sisters, I am Father Damian Arsukularatna from the Catholic Diocese of Galle, Sri Lanka. It is with great pleasure that I am here to share the mission of the Diocese of Galle in Sri Lanka. Also, I convey to you the prayerful wishes and greetings from Most Reverend Dr. Raymond Vikramasinghe, the Bishop of Galle, the priests, the religious, and the lay faithful. Sri Lanka is a beautiful island located in the Indian Ocean, and which is called the Pearl of the Indian Ocean. It is slightly larger than the state of West Virginia and has a population about 22 million, almost equal to the population of the Florida. The island is rich in natural resources and has a diverse economy based on agriculture, mining, fishing, manufacturing, and tourism. Sri Lanka, formerly called Ceylon, became an independent nation in 1948. The island is home to many cultures, languages, and ethnicities and religions. Sri Lanka offers amazing wildlife, from elephant to leopards to rare birds, gorges, beaches perfect for surfing and surfers, mountains spread with tea plantation, and a tropical climate that lasts throughout the year. The Diocese of Galle, Sri Lanka was established in 1893, and patron saint of the diocese is St. Joseph. The population of the southern province is 2.5 million, and nearly 9,000 Catholics are spread unevenly across the hills and dales and beaches of the Galle Diocese. With the Catholics compared to the population, the southern province is just a tiny minority of around 0.36%. But right throughout, the Catholic Church has made a very positive impact in the country, and particularly in the southern region of Sri Lanka. The membership of the Presbyterian in my diocese counts to 46 priests, including the bishop of the diocese, whom 24 diocesan priests who act in the active ministry, 7 diocesan priests retired, and another 15 religious priests serve in 17 parishes and other institutions of the diocesan apostolates. Nearly 100 religious sisters extend their supportive hands in serving the people of God in the southern province. There are 1,400 Sunday school children whom we fed every Sunday, and 241 Sunday teachers who are volunteers and also who are catechists that belong to the 17 parishes. There are also 20 apostolates in fulfilling the mission of the diocese, focusing on the administering the sacraments, enhancing faith evangelization, and looking into the well-being of the people of God. And with social apostolate, the diocese reaches marginalized and voiceless sectors of the Diocese of Gaul while organizing and empowering to take decisions for their own destinies. Sri Lanka is gifted with many natural resources, but unfortunately, since the independence, due to the bad leadership of the country, it remains as an underdeveloped country. The political influences have adversely impacted for the mission of the church and the civil lives as well. Especially from the year 2021, Sri Lanka is facing an economic downturn and political turmoil in the country, resulting that people are facing many issues socially and economically, such as increasing unemployment, depreciation liquidity, high inflation, severe hunger crisis, with half of the families in the country forced to reduce amount of the food and high rate of poverty. Also with heavy heart, I recall the 2019 Easter Day bomb attack in Sri Lanka, which targeted 3 churches in the commercial capital Colombo, which killed 269 Catholics in the churches and 500 plus people, for which the Catholic Church in Sri Lanka is still fighting for justice and find out real perpetrators of the suicide Easter Day bomb attack. So the mission of the Catholic Church in Sri Lanka, and particularly in the Diocese of Gaul, has become challenging with the present situation of the country. Therefore, I take this opportunity to thank His Eminence Cardinal Sean Patrick O'Malley, the Archbishop of the Archdiocese of Boston, Pontifical Mission Societies of the Diocese, and Reverend Father Gerald, and for giving this opportunity for the Diocese of Gaul, Sri Lanka, to participate at this mission cooperative program at the Archdiocese of Boston. My dear brothers and sisters, the generous contribution that at the second collection during this Holy Eucharist is going to make a very positive impact in the mission of the Catholic Diocese of Gaul in Sri Lanka, in serving the poorest and most vulnerable groups, irrespective of race, caste, and religion, strengthening and empowering the communities while getting them closer to God. May God bless you.